these irons, his branding irons for wood burning, and really built to last a lifetime here. This is wood burning irons made by Clem Wilkes. He's over in New Mexico. What I had Clem do is take my logo, and he actually put it into this bronze stamp which heats up, and then we burn that into the wood, whether it's the tops or the handles or anything that I want to burn. And I had to make a few different versions, right? There's a big one. That's the full thing. That's what I used to put on the Tabla covers. All right, the other thing I wanted to show you before we dive in is the history of hooks. When I first started, I went to the hardware store, got a dowel and just a normal little, like a, I don't know, some kind of a basic screw-in hook. I didn't do any shaping to it, and of course it's quite thin metal, and you can see cracked pretty quickly there. And it also moves as soon as you put any torque on the side of it, it just moves. So, but this lasted me a while, and I recommend doing at least this if you don't want to invest in a more custom-made thing. All right, and then I moved. Actually, a friend of mine, CB and Kim Goodsell, he does some custom silver work. And he made me this hook, which has these beautiful end pieces in there. And that lasted a while. And that one had a little bit more of a custom design grind to it. Still a little bit on the thin side for the metal. Right, so this is actually bent out a little bit because you can crank on that and the metal does bend slightly. So then I started working with John Crane, right? And John, being the metal worker and woodworker that he is, we found these much thicker hooks. And he was able to, heat them up and actually custom design the bend in the hook and made that nice point there. And we were using hardwood round dowels for that initially, right? And then started messing with the shape so that now we're dealing with more of a rounded square. That kind of gives you a little bit more ability to control the hook. And we even went so far with John as to look at horse leather handles, hand stitched, right? Super deluxe custom hook here. So this is a keepsake for me because we don't make those anymore. I think a few of my students probably might have these in their little Tabla bag. All right, and then basically started more mass producing them. Not mass, but produced more. And I started putting the logo in the wood. We liked the slight square shape, the ability to control the hook, and the nice thick hook with a little bit longer tapered tip there. It allows you to really slide underneath those straps. So this is what the design that has stuck, and that's what I'm providing now to the students. All right, over here at the Kalamazoo. This is a great tool for the job and a real powerful motor. Some of the littler ones can get bound up because the motor's not powerful enough, but this guy's great. Of course, always safety goggles. All right, and this is what we're working on. It's these hooks here, and this pretty specific thickness. This guy here is 5/16, a pretty thick steel, and this one won't bend at all. the old style. Some of them I made out of slightly thinner metal, and those, if you're really cranking on it, can bend a little bit, but this isn't going anywhere. This is a great gauge hook. Okay, so let's grind this down. Now, I'll just do a teeny bit on the side. But the basic shape is there now.
Right, not too sharp, but definitely gonna get underneath the strap.
All right, so we need to cut off some of these threads here. This is just a little bit too long for it to sink into the wood all the way, so you don't see any threads in the finished product, but it doesn't pop through the other side. So we need to cut off about 1/2 inch of this, and I'll use this guy here, but what I don't want is for this, the rough part of this metal here, which is designed to really hold something firmly, to mar up the metal. So I end up using these guys. All right, this hook is ready for some handle action. I'll do some final hand sanding on this once the handle's on. So when we made these handles at John Crane's shop on Bainbridge there, we actually pre-tapped the threads in these handles, but I don't have that size tap here, so I just drilled the right size hole, and then I will hand tap this, and just so I have to make sure that it's straight. Okay, so let me go ahead and do that. And this is a pretty snug fit, so I will use vise here. Just, it doesn't take much, just a teeny bit of pressure, and then I can just crank down on this. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. I'll bring it all the way down so the threads disappear. Like so. Right? It's looking pretty good. And so now I'll unscrew this, and we're gonna epoxy that in, and that will hold for life. All right, now that we've got the handles threaded, ready to epoxy them in. So I'm just using this Gorilla epoxy. It's clear. We're going to mix this up just with a nail, and I'm going to use this nail also to insert the glue into the threads and around the sides, not just the bottom. First, we're going to mix this up. It's actually better to really do a good job on the mixing here. All right. Just get enough. Try not to have any like little strings hanging down that get on the side. You want to just only get it in the hole. I'm gonna kind of just wipe it all along the sides there, and that should be plenty. Okay. It's really nice the fact that they're pre-threaded now. It screws in quite easily, but firmly. That's beautiful. So there, we'll let that dry. All right, so this has been sitting a couple hours and it's firm enough to work with. It'll keep curing over the next 24 hours or so, but we can work with it now. And what I want to do is just use a 150 sandpaper or something similar, not too rough, because what we want to do is polish this down just a little bit. It doesn't have to be all shiny, but just get the edges off of where we machine down the metal. And there's a little bit of a burr, not a burr hoe, but a burr that is on the actual point there, which is a dull point, right? I'd have to work hard at skewering myself with this. I like finishing everything off by hand. It gives it a certain look, which I really like. Awesome. Let's see if I get the light on that. It's got a kind of a hand ground look, but it's definitely finished off just right. All right, and now the handle itself, these ones we did at John's shop, and there's a light finish on there. So we go over how we made this in that video, so you can check that out. But this is the assembly. I think we're done.